Welcome back to Step by Step. Every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do furniture tutorials. Sometimes it's a one-part, all-in-one, and sometimes it's a two-part. So today is a two-part series, and we are refurbishing this china cabinet and updating it for a customer. So you can see it's a little orangey, so we're gonna kind of eradicate the orange wood and make it look a little more modern. So I start by removing the hardware. I don't always remove hardware on my pieces. Sometimes I paint over the hardware, but this time we're doing kind of a sleek look. We're going to be using silk paint in Anchor, which is the blackest black. So we're kind of going for a little bit more of a sleek yet distressed finish. So we're removing that hardware because we have a special treatment for it. I also take the doors off because, again, I want to give this piece a really sleek, polished, finished look. When I record over my videos, sometimes I'm amazed at how gray my hair is becoming. That's just a side note for you friends. Has nothing to do with the furniture piece. Oh well, right? It happens to everyone. Okay, so when I remove hinges like that, try to remove one screw from the top, one screw from the bottom, and just do it that way so it doesn't kind of fall off. So what we're doing now is using Dixie Belle's White Lightning Cleaner. So I have it diluted in a spray bottle, and I'm wiping down the entire surface. And even though this piece appeared clean, it's always amazing to me how much residue comes off. So that tells you that you don't want to just jump in and start painting a piece of furniture, even if it looks clean, because there's the possibility that residue is on there that's going to keep your paint from adhering. Then always remember to rinse it with water. So I keep water in a spray bottle as well, and that's how I rinse it down. Now I get started on the painting, and I'm starting with those doors, and I'm starting on the inside. I always like to give the inside a coat. To me, this is going to be in a kitchen, so it's very similar to cabinet painting, and you don't have to give the inside the best treatment, but you always want to give it that wash of color. I always think if the homeowner had guests and they opened their cupboards, it would look a little weird if the back of the door wasn't painted as the front was. So that's a telltale sign that it was a painted piece of furniture. So try to, keep our lines even, and painting the back of the cabinet door is one of those ways. I'm using the Scarlet brush, which I think is pretty cool. It fits in the palm of your hand. It allows you to get in those crevices with the side of the brush and also use it like I am now to coat the flat surfaces. It's a synthetic brush, and it's really a cool one. I like it a lot. So I am painting the front of this cabinet, and I'm using silk in Anchor. That's the darkest of the blacks. There's also a color called Black Sands, which is kind of a gray black, which is really pretty too. So I coat the entire piece, and that's what it looks like when I get the first coat on. So it's pretty good coverage. But now I want to use the sanding sponge, which I also forgot to tell you in the beginning. I use the sanding sponge before I start painting as well. I didn't include that step, but I did it. So now I'm using the same sanding sponge in between coats. It really, really helps to give you this amazingly soft, satiny finish. I guess more of a silky finish. You can see the top of the hutch in the back, so you want to make sure you come back for part 2 of this series, because we'll be doing that piece then, and we're going to give it a total makeover. We're going to get rid of that leaded glass, even though it's really pretty, but it does date the the piece. Not sure why we're looking at my floor right now, but I just continue to coat the entire top of this piece and then use long sweeping strokes to smooth it out. But yeah, so the inside of the cabinet's going to get a different treatment. Right now it's mirrored, so it's going to look pretty cool when it's all done. Very nice update to this piece. So make sure you come back. Okay, so now the two coats are completely dry, and I'm using Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in white. And we're doing a different finish on this. So I put the white wax on the detailed areas and just wipe it back. See how beautiful that finish is? I love it. It really, no wonder they call this paint silk. But I just come back in, then you can use paper towels like I am here, or you can use a soft cloth. But just gently wipe back the wax off of the raised surfaces, and then the wax remains in the detailed areas. So I continue to do that all over the detailed areas on the front of this dresser and the sides, of course. It almost reminds me of a chalkboard. You know how when a chalkboard is new and it looks, or freshly cleaned and it looks so pristine, and then someone writes on it and erases it? That's kind of the look that I think this gives, and I really like it. Kind of a vintagey look, but yet it's still pretty sleek, I think. So we kind of have a mixture of an updated yet vintage look on this piece. Very cottagecore, very farmhousey. So I always like to do, I'm putting in areas just like I would the dark wax on a lighter piece. So I always like to do around the handles. So any place that would be well worn, corners and all those detailed areas. This is a beautiful piece of furniture. If you're interested in purchasing Dixie Belle products, there's an affiliate link in the description box, and that will take you directly to Dixie Belle, and you can purchase from them, but I get a little kickback, and it doesn't cost you anything more. So it's a win-win. So I continue to wax those details. So now we have a decision to make. Because this is for a client, I want her to make this decision. I'm using some hardware that I had around here and did a test sample. One side I used gemstone mousse in diamond, and on the other side I used the amber, and I wanted her to decide. We both agreed that amber on the left was the winner. So in order for me to get the original hardware to look like the one on the left, the sample, I had to paint it first with the black. So I used the silk in black anchor to give it a first coat. So I just coat all of the surfaces on the hardware, the wood and the metal part, and just cover it completely. I only used one coat. I just wanted, the reason for this, even though we're painting it with the gemstone mousse in amber, is because it'll distress a little bit. We're not going to give a solid coat of that amber, so we want to make sure that we have the black peek through, so it gives a more vintage look. So now I'm applying the amber, and I'm just using a real kind of dry brush technique, just lightly going over the surface and leaving the black paint show in the crevices. And gemstone mousse is really a cool product. It's kind of like a cross between like a puddingy paint and wax, if you will. Every time you open the jar, you want to give it a little stir with a stick. It's like gold to me. It does come in gold, and it also comes in diamond, which is kind of a silver, and it comes in garnet, which is a red tone, and then this amber color, which is kind of like copper. It's really one of my favorites. So I did the knobs and all of the pulls. Really doesn't take a lot of paint to change the look. And you don't even have to paint your whole cabinet. If you just want to change the look on some of your furniture pieces, this is a great way to update. You can do this on kitchen cabinets even. And then I also paint the hinges. I don't paint the entire part because you don't see it all. I'm just painting the part that you see, which is the actual hinge. So here's how the piece turned out. I'm pretty impressed with it. I also staged it. Since it's in my studio, I just did kind of a fake staging in Photoshop. Actually, my photo apps. But I love this piece, and I really think that it is going to be beautiful once the cabinet top is done. So make sure you come back and check it out. So I hope you like this technique and that you'll consider using white wax in the future on a dark paint. So I want to thank you so much for joining this week, and hope you come back again for part 2. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with someone. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And visit us at lavintagedecor.company. On Instagram, we're lavintagedecor. And on Facebook, we're lavintagedecor Altoona. Stay well.